Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here today for the Thrive virtual conference. My name is Dominique Broadway. I'm an award-winning financial planner, personal finance expert, and the founder of Finances Demystified. And at Finances Demystified, I work with millennials, entrepreneurs, and creatives, helping them to understand their finances so they can demystify them and bring all their dreams to reality. So I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about one of our favorite things, all things money. And if you do or do not know me, probably don't know me, but just know I am extremely frugal, and I'm frugal because I love being able to see money in my bank account and being able to have money as a tool so that I can live the life that I would like to live on my own terms, and that's what it's all about. So today, what we're going to be discussing is 5 tips on getting your finances under control for your blog. Okay, so it's interesting when we all decide to become entrepreneurs, it's kind of like this big epiphany where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to become an entrepreneur and I'm going to help people with my blog or help people with this respective business or their service, and I'm going to be changing lives. And we come into it from what I like to call a passion perspective, right? So a lot of times we're so excited about going after our passion that we don't focus on the money. We don't focus on the profits at all. And so that's why I see so many entrepreneurs and bloggers or influencers failing, because they're so busy, trying to run their business, but they're kind of working in their business, but not getting a chance to work on their business. And they're completely ignoring their finances, their personal finances and their business finances, because there's this saying that, once you are in your passion, you don't have to worry about money, and that's not the case. We all know that. I've personally gone through it, and you have to make sure that you're being aware of your finances. So let's go ahead and jump into those 5 things. So the first thing I want to talk about, or the first tip, is you need to think of your business as a business and not just a blog. Now follow me. I know a lot of bloggers, when they started, they didn't really even think about it as a business. It was just something they were doing. I know some people who just started blogging because they wanted to document their weight loss journey, or they started blogging because they wanted to document them getting their finances under control, or documenting being a mom or being a mompreneur or something of that nature. Then all of a sudden, boom, it's turned to this thing, and it's not just a blog anymore, it's a business. And I think where a lot of entrepreneurs go wrong is that they continue to think of it as just a blog. And so I want you to take this first step, which in this case is really taking the time to think of your blog as a business. So if you're thinking of it as a business, there's a couple things you need to do. Having a bank account for it, registering the business name, having the tax identification number for your business. Let's see what else. Putting a corporate structure behind it, so that may be registering as a LLC. Just all these different things that you need to do to make sure that your business is something that's real, it's legit, and it's not just you blogging and people sending you money every now and then. And when you're thinking about it as a business, think about it as if any other company that you've ever worked for. They don't just wake up every morning and say, what am I going to do today? That's not how it goes. It needs to be structured. You need to have plans. You need to have a content calendar. You need to have a marketing calendar. You may even need to have yourself or someone on your team that's going to be doing business development to get more people to advertise on your site or more brands to partner with you. So I want to make sure that you're thinking about your blog as a business, okay? You have to be thinking about it as a business in order for this thing to grow. Now, if you don't want your business to grow and you don't want it to make any money, that's fine. Think about it as a blog when you want, and that's it. But for most of us, we want our blogs to turn into something that can be a main revenue stream or a thriving additional revenue stream. And if that's what you want to do, you have to think about it as a business. Point blank, it has to be a business. You have to be legit and professional with what you're creating. So the next thing I want you to do is to set financial goals for your blog. And I say set financial goals for your blog, but I want to make sure you're setting goals in general for your blog, okay? So like I said earlier, when you're thinking about your blog as a business, you have to set financial goals for it. So if you just started blogging and every now and then you get a brand that wants to sponsor and it's like, yay, I got $500 or I got $200 to write this post, that's awesome. But if you want this to be something that's real, you have to set financial goals for your blog. So essentially, the first thing you want to do is think about how much money you want to make this year, okay? So you take that number. I know we're in the middle of the year, but either way, you kind of can split this up based on where we are in the year. But essentially, you take that big number. Okay, so let's say if that big number is $100,000, let's just say, right? You say, hey, I want to make $100,000. You take $100,000 and you divide it by 12. Okay, so from there, we take that down, and that's going to give us our monthly amount. So once we have our monthly amount, we can have our weekly amount. And once we have our weekly amount, we can have our daily amount. Now, not everyone makes money on their business daily, but in some of these blogs that I've seen, they actually do, okay? They actually do make money on their blog daily. And this can be from selling t-shirts, this can be from selling mugs, this can be from selling courses, it can be from selling one-on-one coaching. It can be all different types of things that you could be selling. Now I'm just going to do some rough math here. So example, if you have the $100,000 a year goal and you break it down by 12, that means your business is bringing $8,333 a month, okay? $8,333 a month. Now, if you divide that by 4, that means that you need to make $2,083 a week, okay? So $2,083 a week. Now, if you divide that by, let's just say 7, that's $297 a day. Now, that still may seem like a lot, but think about it. If your goal is to only sell $297 a day, that could be possibly 10 coffee mugs or 10 t-shirts or something of that nature. That needs to happen, and a lot of this can be passive income, which means money that you're not physically having to go and make. It's people just coming to your site and buying certain things. But as you can see, you have to have those financial goals. Now, like I said, this is you setting a larger number and breaking it down, but I've noticed that a lot of people do not do this at all. They do not take the time to set a financial goal for your blog. So that's what I want you to do. By the time this virtual conference is over, have a goal for your blog. Understand how much money you want your blog to make on an annual basis, and then divide that by 12. So you have your monthly number, divide that by 4 so that you have your weekly number, and then divide that by 7 so you have your daily number. And a lot of times, if you're able to aim for a daily or weekly number, it makes it a little bit more attainable instead of just saying, oh my gosh, I want to make $100,000 this year. That can be a little overwhelming, right? Because you're like, 100,000, this seems like a lot. What do I need to sell to get there? But if you break it down and set goals where you say, hey, I know I want to sell 20 coffee mugs this month or 20 t-shirts. I want to make sure I have at least 10 people sign up for one-on-one coaching sessions, or I want to get at least 3 brands to come on and sponsor a post or content on my social media, whatever it may be, but make sure you're setting those goals for your blog, okay? So the next thing I want you to do is track your blog's income and expenses, or your business's income and expenses. This is another thing that people just don't do. They do not track their business's income and expenses. And I tell people all the time, if you're not doing well with managing your personal finances, oh, trust me, you're not going to be any better when it comes time to manage your business finances. So to track your blog's income and expenses, I think the first thing you want to do is really start with those expenses, because I think that in this, virtual tech world that we're in, we're always signing up for various online tools. So I know even in my business, I was looking the other day, I'm like, okay, I have ClickFunnels, and you have your hosting, and you have your Active Campaign, and I have Zapier, and I have, what else is it? Adobe Suite, all these different things. I'm like, holy crap, these things are getting really expensive. And so you want to take the time to list out and make sure that, one, you also that you even need all these different tools that you have and that you're using them, and that they are supporting your business and you're not just overpaying for things. So you want to take the time to sit down and make a list of all the expenses so you also can know how much does it actually cost you to run your blog, right? This is something, like I said, that a lot of people don't know. And I've seen people that think they have a profitable blog, but by the time they actually calculate their expenses, they realize that their expenses are way higher than what they're actually making. And so there has to be a shift there, okay? So as you're figuring out that expenses, you also need to figure out how much money your blog is bringing in. And you need to be realistic about that. So is your blog bringing in money, like I said, from t-shirts, mugs, coaching, advertisers? Is it sponsored posts even on your social media? Because even if you're putting stuff, getting sponsors posts on your social media, that's still technically kind of like blog income because it's all under your business entity. And making sure that you're making enough money. And how much money are you bringing in? Okay, you want to make sure that you're tracking that income and that expenses as well for your blog. And then also with that, making sure that you're setting aside, money for taxes, or if you're going to be paying yourself, or if you plan to, hire someone else out, or whatever it may be. And some of my favorite tools for tracking your business income and expenses, I absolutely love QuickBooks. I think they're great. Even the self-employed version is awesome because it's literally like Tender, where you like swipe right if it's a business expense and swipe left if it's a personal expense, which is really great for sole proprietors. Another is Mint. I think is also great. I know a lot of times people use Mint just for their personal expenses, but it can also be used for your business expenses as well, because as you know, Mint is free. So you can essentially have as many Mint.com accounts as you want. So you can have one on your business email, one on your personal email, to keep those expenses separate. Another favorite tool that I like is Tiller. Tiller is more of a Google Sheets or Google Sheets based program, but it's really cool. It helps you tag all of your income and your expenses, so you have a really great idea of where you are, not just on a monthly basis, but on a daily basis. And making sure also, as you're tracking this income and expenses, that you are setting time every week. For some people, it's every day, to make sure that you're categorizing the expenses that you have and the income that you have as well. And just to make sure that the business that you've created is something that's viable and it's working and it's something that you can grow, okay? So another thing you want to do is separate your business and personal finances. So many people go out of their way to get their business turned into an LLC and get a legal business entity, which is great. However, if you go through all that hassle and you're still commingling your business and personal expenses, that means that in the event that you were ever sued, that they could technically go after your personal expenses as well, or your personal finances as well, because you have been commingling. So it's really important to make sure that you take the time to set up a business account for your blog or for your business. And you can go and set this up at, Capital One is great, or Chase Bank or Credit Union, whatever bank is easiest for you to access. I always say try to pick one that gives you the ability to deposit checks remotely, because I know I get a lot of brand checks and a lot of checks for corporations. Some people pay online, but a lot of the bigger companies do still pay by check. So make sure you have something where you can do a mobile check deposit so you're not constantly running to the bank, because that can get pretty annoying as well. So make sure you set up a business account, okay? And you'll go in, when you set up your business account, you'll go in with your EIN number. You'll also go, which is your employer identification number or your business's personal, social security or tax number. And then you'll go in with your articles of organization. If you have an LLC or corporation, you present these two documents and yourself as the signer, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And then from there, just make sure that your business income and business expenses is coming out of this business account. Now, to further separate your personal finances, once your business gets to this point, and even if your business hasn't gotten to the point where you're paying yourself, whenever you have a personal expense, just make sure that you're moving the money from your business account to your personal account. So you can set it up where you're getting paid once a month. Maybe the money just transfers once a month from your business account to your personal account. And you can even use an awesome tool like Gusto for something like this. Or you can, like I said, just have a transfer happen, or you could just write yourself a check every month out of your business account into your personal account to ensure that these expenses are being separate. Because there's no reason that you should be paying for, all of your personal things out of your business account, because that's technically still commingling, okay? Now, the last thing I want you to think about as you're getting your finances under control for your blog is hiring an accountant, okay? I think that you have to have your financial team in place when you're running a business or starting a blog or whatever it is that you're running. And a lot of times hiring an accountant isn't as expensive as a lot of people think. This could be someone that does your stuff on a monthly basis, or someone even that just comes around during tax time and handles everything for you to make sure that you're staying on track. There's another great website, and I'll try to put it in, it's escaping me right now, that allows you to hire really low cost accountants. But ask around, ask your friends, and see like, hey, what are great some accountants that you've worked with? Because for a lot of bloggers, they're creative people, and because of that, they just don't want to think about their finances at all. If you're out here trying to create your content calendar and create awesome content and do flat lays and photo shoots, the last thing you want to think about is your finances. So I think that's a great thing to do. Consider hiring an accountant, tax preparer, someone to help with the finances when you feel like you can no longer handle it, or if it's something that you're like, I'm constantly getting behind on this because I'm so busy working on growing the business. I think it's a great first hire, and that's like a lot of times the first hire for a lot of people. So just to kind of recap, the 5 things you need to do to get your blog's finances under control. First thing, like I said, think of it as a business and not just a blog. That's the first thing you have to do. That's a huge mindset shift. It's also like a lot of times where people are like, oh, I'm in hustle mode, which is great, but no one wants to hustle forever. And hustlers don't always make great CEOs, right? Because hustlers think they can do everything on their own. They're out there hustling. They're not putting systems in place. They're not doing all those different things. So make sure that you're thinking of your blog as a business and not just a blog, so that you have the ability to scale and grow it. The second tip, again, was set financial goals for your blog. How much money do you want to make this year? Figure out what that dollar amount is, divided by 12, divided by 4, divided by 7, okay? And that's going to give you your annual, monthly, weekly, and daily goal, okay? And then the next thing you want to do, like I said, tracking your blog's income and expenses using apps like Tiller, Mint, QuickBooks, even if you use FreshBooks, whatever it may be, just select a tool that you like and stick with it. The next thing was separating your business and personal expenses. Like I said, this is extremely important. This is where I see a lot of people just commingling all their business and personal expenses. If you have not done so yet, open up a business account for your business, and also make sure that all your personal expenses are going strictly out of your personal account and not out of your business account. You could also do, just another tip, do this by opening a business credit card, which can be great for you to keep all of your business expenses on one thing and then just pay on one credit card, and then just pay that credit card every month from your business account is an option as well. Excuse me. Last but not least, hire an accountant. Get someone that can help you manage your finances on a monthly or annual basis, or just something. If you're feeling completely overwhelmed and you're like, this is something that's just taking too much time away from me being able to grow this blog or grow this business, then hire. Like I said, for a lot of people, it can be their first, best, and most valuable hire, because accountants can also help you see when you're overspending, even if you're not spending enough from a tax perspective, but also if your business is doing well, is it actually working or not? So those are my 5 tips for getting your finances under control. Thank you again for having me. If you have any more information, go to finances.demystified.com. Follow us there. Same thing on IG. Also follow me personally on IG, Dominique Broadway. We're always giving tons of motivational financial tips and giving away awesome freebies all the time. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see all of you soon. Bye.